What's going on, guys? So who doesn't love cycluras? They're like the perfect pet lizard. They're like the closest thing that we can get to having a pet dinosaur, but are we keeping them correctly? So way off into the ocean, off the south shore here in Puerto Rico, and by way off into the ocean, I mean that's the island right there, just that right there. The Cuban iguana is thriving on this island, and the island is protected, and so are the iguanas, and you just can't hop on a boat and go out to the island. You have to have special permits in order to set foot on that island, and thanks to my friend Juan Morales, we got those permits. So we're gonna hop a boat, we're gonna go out to that island and see how these cycluras are living in the wild, so that we better know how to care for them in our homes. I'm Dāv Kaufman, and these are my reptile adventures.
At Zilla, we are dedicated to the innovation of caging, lighting, and equipment solutions that provide proper husbandry for your pet's long and happy life. To see our entire catalog, visit zillarules.com.
All right, here we go. That was the shortest boat ride in history. But look at this, guys. There's an iguana sitting right over there. Look at this. We've been here now for half a second. Iguana, 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 iguana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 iguanas. 9 as we step foot off the boat. That's pretty incredible. Hi, buddy. How you doing?
Hello.
Look at this guy sitting right here. Oh, and here comes the male. Who's, man, you got lucky there with that. Here, let me help you, buddy. Come here. Come here. Let me help you get. There you go. There. It's all good. All good. Who put this dumb thing here? Look at this big male over here. Look at this. You can just get right up close to these guys. Hi, buddy, come here. Come here. So have a look at this big, beautiful Cuban rock iguana. Look at the jaws on this guy. This guy, if I get bit by him, yeah, it's gonna ruin my day, and my day just started out here. But this is a big, beautiful male Cuban rock iguana. Look at that comb on him. Man, that's a nice comb. But these guys are everywhere on this island, but where I am right now really doesn't represent the natural habitat of cycluras in the wild. But having cement sidewalks like this, that is a nice big flat hot rock to these iguanas, and that's probably why they're hanging out on this side of the island. But man, I thought I'd have to really work hard to see these iguanas in the wild. And as soon as we stepped off the boat, man, there were a dozen of them just sitting there. But this was the biggest, most beautiful male of that group, and this is the one I wanted to show you guys. What an amazing lizard. These iguanas are thriving on this island. You're not gonna poop on me, are you? Don't poop. Don't. But you can definitely see why these are such amazing lizards. This is a wild Cuban iguana, and look at this. He's just chilling out, sitting on my arm. He was really agitated. He still kind of is, but man, he has calmed down so significantly in the little amount of time that I've been handling him here. And if you look on his face there, you can see that he's been eating a lot of berries or something around here. But these guys are mainly vegetarians. They are omnivores. They will eat some insects, but mostly they're eating vegetation out here, and we're gonna look into seeing what vegetation is out here that these guys are eating. All right, so this is iguana poop. And you can see that it's all fibers, it's all fruit. They're eating leaves off these trees. There's really no evidence of any insect matter in there or of any other kind of meat in there. It's all vegetation that these iguanas are eating out here. Now I got poop on my hands. All right, so this is exactly what I wanted to see. This guy is having a meal before I sat down and spooked him. Oh, sorry, buddy. But Let's take a look at what he's eating here. So this is one of the things that they're eating out here in the wild. This is called a sea almond. These are also called country almonds or Indian almonds, Malabar almonds, and these are actually introduced to here in Puerto Rico, just like these iguanas are. But you can see that there's this red, fleshy kind of fruit around the almond itself. And obviously it's the fruit that these iguanas are eating. I have no idea if they're actually eating the almond inside or just eating the meat around the almond. But most of these iguanas around here, their faces are red, which indicates that they're eating a lot of these sea almonds out here in the wild. All right, look at this female right here. Man, they have almost no fear of humans. She's just kind of walking with me here. Oh, look at this big male right here. Hi, buddy. Yeah, look at him posture. He's trying to make himself look as big as possible. Man, that is a nice male iguana. Oh, that's your tail whip? That's all you got? Come on. That's like you're shaking my hand, buddy. You're not going to scare anyone away like that. So when people think about the Caribbean islands where cycluras live, they think about really dense tropical forests with high humidity, and they erroneously believe that that's the habitat of cycluras, while it's actually the complete opposite. On a lot of these islands where cycluras live here in the Caribbean, it's actually not high humid tropical forests. It's actually really dry, rocky scrub, kind of like what we find in the American Southwest. And it's in these dry, rocky, bushy scrubland areas that the cycluras live and thrive. Look at this habitat right here. We've got dry grass, we've got really dry, arid conditions, lots of rocks, there's a cactus right there, and then you've got not really trees, but you've got these bushes here, and it's not wet and tropical at all here. And if that cyclura wasn't right in front of me and I just kind of looked at this habitat, this looks almost identical to places in Utah or New Mexico or Arizona. It really does not look like a tropical Caribbean island. And look at this soil. It's hard packed, it's rocky, just like the deserts of the southwestern part of the United States. And then you've got these agave species here, and you don't really have a lot of humidity. Underneath this leaf layer, there's some humidity here, but on the surface where these iguanas are, again, it's dry and arid, and there's very little humidity here compared to the rest of the Caribbean islands. We do not think about the Caribbean islands being kind of desert dry scrub like this, but again, this is the preferred habitat for cycluras here in the Caribbean. So on that note, there is no standing fresh water on this island, and it's obviously surrounded by salt water. So it also very rarely rains here. So these iguanas are probably not drinking from standing water very often, and therefore they are getting most of their hydration through the plants that they eat out here. So when it comes to the preferred humidity for cycluras, you know, up there in the mountains and in the wet tropical forests, the humidity is obviously going to be very different than it is here in this microhabitat, in this dry desert scrub that cycluras live in. So with that said, I'm going to take some ambient temperature and some humidity readings here. So look at that. We are in the upper 50s for relative humidity, and we're at 33 degrees Celsius, which is 92 degrees, about 92.5 degrees Fahrenheit. It is hot and it is dry here in the cyclura's habitat. All right, so right here on these rocks, I just spooked a big male iguana that was sunning himself right on this rock. So here is where I am going to take a temperature reading to see what temperature these iguanas are basking at. And look at that, he was basking at 109 degrees, which is 42 degrees Celsius. Let's take a reading over there, 103 on that rock. So this rock is facing the sun, so that one's at 115 degrees, but this is the rock that that iguana chose. And again, we're reading 108 degrees Fahrenheit which is again 42 degrees Celsius. So this is the rock that that iguana chose to bask on at these temperatures. So what these readings are telling us is that for your enclosures at home, they should be kept hot and dry, with ambient temperatures in the low to mid 90s, basking temperatures about 105 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and relative humidity in the upper 50s to low 60s. So cycluras are strictly diurnal. They are active during the hottest parts of the day, and at night they find shelter in their burrows or under low-lying bushes, and they sleep all night long. They are dormant almost all night long and active again during the day. So what that means is that ultraviolet light is so very important to the health and well-being of your cycluras. So there was another one basking right here on this rock, so I'm going to use this spot to take some UV readings. So the UV index on this rock where that iguana was just basking, you can see that the UV index is, well, about 5.7, 5.6, 5.7. So that is really high on the UV meter, and I can't stress enough how important ultraviolet light is to not only these Cuban iguanas, but if you're keeping rhino iguanas or Lewisii or any of the other cycluras, I think that ultraviolet light is one of those things that is so often overlooked. And when you overlook something as important as ultraviolet light, it really has a detrimental effect to the health and well-being of your iguana. As far as the DNR is concerned, these are now basically native iguanas, and therefore they are protected as if they are native cycluras to Puerto Rico. And all of the protections that cycluras have, these guys here, even though they aren't native, get those same protections here. But not only that, but one of the main reasons why they will not allow the public to come out to this island is, let's face it, when you open up a fragile habitat like this to the public, they don't mean to, but they will wind up destroying this fragile habitat. They will bushwhack through the plants and kill those plants. They'll trample them underfoot trying to see these iguanas. So in order to protect this fragile ecosystem in this fragile habitat that is so unique to Puerto Rico, and to protect these iguanas, they have just basically made this entire island off limits to the public. And again, you need a permit in order to set foot where I'm walking right now. And if you are found out here without that permit, you're gonna get arrested. And frankly, I absolutely agree with that. And look at this guy right here. Hi, buddy. The reason why iguanas like this are found everywhere throughout this island is because they are protected, and so is their habitat. So the Cuban iguana is obviously native to Cuba, just a couple of islands over, well, maybe that way? That way? But anyway, these Cuban iguanas have been on this island off the south coast of Puerto Rico for decades. They are well established, and at this point, they're pretty much native to this island. They are not found on the mainland in Puerto Rico. They are only found on this island, and obviously these Cuban iguanas are thriving here just as they would in their home range in Cuba. And so the habitat and the temperature and the humidity that these Cuban iguanas are living in here in Puerto Rico is extremely similar to the habitat and the humidity and the temperature that they would be living at in their native Cuba. So this is Juan Morales. Thank you so much for getting us the permit to come out to this island. And it wasn't easy to get a permit to come out to this island. You had to work for a couple of days to, get us permission to come out here. But why is this island so protected?
Okay, this island is a research for the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez for the marine biology programs. Several years ago, they were studying also the genetics of the iguana, not anymore. But the iguanas are here because actually this island years ago was a zoo. Then they closed the zoo and they free the animals here. And the only animals left are the iguanas.
So this whole island used to be a zoo, and they just released the animals when the zoo closed.
When the zoo closed,
Okay.
years ago. It was many years ago, more than 20.
More than 20 years ago.
Of course.
So these iguanas have basically been living on this island for the past 20 years. So
For the past 20 years.
these really aren't considered invasive. They now live here, they thrive here, they're breeding here, and for all intents and purposes, they are native now.
Yeah, we are the ones that are invasive.
Yeah, that's
They live
absolutely
here,
correct.
we just came to visit.
Absolutely. All right, so you remember David from other videos here in Puerto Rico. So he is joining us on this iguana excursion. So is this your first time on this island?
This is actually my first time, and I live over here in Puerto Rico.
Right, right.
So we're having the same experience. This actually has been amazing, awesome. Like, look at this guy.
I mean,
He's been
yeah.
following us for almost half a day, trying to bite my legs earlier.
He's just, yeah, he literally is following us
No,
around.
the thing is, he was just going like this, and I saw him like, and stick back, and then he started bobbing his head.
A lot of people will see this and think, okay, that's a tame iguana, but it's not. It's a wild iguana, and what this illustrates is really how curious and how really intelligent these iguanas are.
Yeah, iguanas, especially rock iguanas, are actually one of the most intelligent lizard species in the world, and comparable to monitors. And
Right.
you know, monitors are also very, very intelligent. And you can see he's very tolerant. He's tolerant. They're tolerant. They can be very aggressive. Like, you see, those are little testosterone-filled machines.
That's right.
You see that? He probably has more testosterone than us four here combined, probably.
Well, probably not more than me, but you know, all right.
You can compare those one with the green iguanas. The green iguanas just went flying off,
Yeah.
but these ones are just
That's
like,
true.
Yeah, earlier.
That's true. There are green iguanas on this island, and man, as soon as you come anywhere near them, they flee.
Yep.
And these guys just sit there and are curious as to who we are, what we're doing. Because this is a protected island and there's no tourists allowed out here, we had to go through a permit process to get out here. Nobody's out here feeding these guys, so they're not coming up to us expecting to be hand-fed, whatever, bread, whatever.
Curious.
But
about
they're
it.
mostly
just
curious.
curious,
He's
right?
mostly-
All right, so we are back in the ruins of the old zoo. You can see one of the zoo buildings over here, and here is another Cyclura. That's a nice female right there. There's a nice male sitting up here. But look at this, you can just walk right up to these guys, and then they, sir, excuse me, sir, I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Sir. All right, so I found a flower here. I'm gonna see how close I can get an iguana to come up and eat out of my hand here. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh, here he comes. Come on. Come on, buddy. Ah, that's so awesome. Dude, you're totally in a Disney movie now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you're a Disney
I'm a
princess.
business princess.
Yeah, you're a Disney princess right there. All right, guys, so our time on Iguana Island has come to an end. This is the last boat over of the day. We've got to take it, but this is insane. I mean, there are cycluras all over this island. Man, what an awesome place. All right, we got to get on the boat back to the mainland. We got a really long way to go to get back to the mainland over here. All right, gracias. All right, guys, so we are back on mainland Puerto Rico. Man, what an amazing day to be out on that island visiting with all of those cycluras. You know, so many people think that cycluras, because they live on Caribbean islands, that they are tropical lizards, and they are absolutely not. They prefer it hot and dry, just like that habitat on that island. Anyway, guys, as always with the In the Wild series, I hope that this video gave you guys some insight and some new ways in which to better keep your cycluras at home. So anyway, guys, I just want to give a real quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, that link is in the description below. And guys, as always, thanks for watching. And until the next reptile adventure, love the planet, feed your reptile obsession, and rattle on.